And it was it was a minority of blacks that were Christian. Because they were Christian, they had all the prosperity and were successful. Yeah. And they all got exterminated and wiped out, a couple million of them. And now all over the world, they're pressuring.
Is that true? I didn't know that there was a religious component to the...
Oh, yeah.
Alex Jones finally explains why the elite want to eradicate Christianity and pinpoint examples I've even never heard of. And he talks about it in this video. Let's watch.
You have to recognize that the Larry Finks and others think they're above the law. They think they're invincible. They've got their big...
It's more than that. I'm sorry. They hate us, actually. There is hatred. It's not just neglect. It's not just, I'm in it for the money. Larry Fink could probably have made more money without ESG, actually.
Oh, I agree. Oh, I was about to say.
So it's not it, but the point of ESG is to destroy the civilization. And what's the point there? It's not just so they can like leave in their escape pod. It's because they hate the civilization.
Exactly. In fact, they're suicide bombers. They're economic, cultural suicide bombers. I was about to say, Larry Fink, one time I was flying in a private jet, somebody I was flying with over Connecticut. They go, look, there's Larry Fink's giant compound. You can see the big fences and the thousands of acres and, security guard stations. The point is he thinks he can wage war against us and then he's going to be insulated. He's got to be exposed. He's got to be spotlighted.
Of course.
And we've got to let him know that we're going to blame you. So you think you can replace Klaus Schwab because he's so unpopular? Well, you're going to be more unpopular than him. So I totally agree. We have to admit that they're waging war on us. And we have to mobilize.
They're doing it for it's not just to make money. I mean, I think the Sacklers are smart. They probably could have made money doing a lot of things. But instead it was selling poison to Appalachia. And at some point you got to think, well, they knew that, of course. They knew what they were doing. And they had to have taken a certain joy in killing all those people.
At the end of the day, in 1917, British intelligence working with a lot of Russian immigrants to New York put 100,000 men into Russia and sent Stalin's train of gold in. And they took them years to control the whole country, but they got control of the capital city. And then they just sent out the commissars to the peasants, thought they were being liberated from the czars and feudalism. And instead they said it was 20 times worse. And they just raped and killed and murdered tens of millions of them. And so at the end of the day, whatever the deal is with the left, they want to kill Christian farmers and they want to kill Christian white farmers. But you saw the UN and
that is true. I spent a long time not wanting to admit to myself that that's true. But then you just look globally. What is this? Like what connects everything? It's a hostility to that group. I don't know where that hostility comes from. It's a flawed group. All people are flawed. Every group is flawed. But that's on par, pretty peaceable group. Actually, kind of nice people. Like why the hatred? And I think it's Christianity. I really believe that.
And it's not just kill white Christians. That's the main target. Look at the Rwandan massacre, which the UN actually ran. If you study it, and the Clintons were there. And it was it was a minority of blacks that were Christian. Because they were Christian, they had all the prosperity and were successful. Yeah. And they all got exterminated and wiped out, a couple million of them. And now all over the world, they're pressuring.
Is that true? I didn't know that there was a religious component to the
Tutsi. It was the Christians got killed.
I didn't know that.
And the animists did it, yeah. And the UN oversaw it. They put them in the refugee centers.
What?
Oh, yeah. The UN helped murder them all.
So the Tutsis were disproportionately Christian?
Yes, the minority group that was killed was disproportionately Christian.
Yeah, by the Hutus.
Yeah. And the Hutus were animists.
Why have I never heard that before?
That was what I had guessed on at the time it was going down and covered it, yeah.
That was 31 years ago. I didn't know that.
And then they acted like the Clintons were helping. No, the UN, this actually came out in reports even from the UN, they'd stick them in the refugee emergency center. They'd pull back at night and send in the animists to kill them. And then if some got out, the UN would machine gun them.
So I knew that there were a lot of Tutsis killed in churches, but I didn't realize that they were killed by non-Christians.
Oh, yeah. And the larger thing was...
Wow.
The larger thing was these big global corporations.
Blew my mind, Alex Jones.
I wish it wasn't true. They wanted the rare earth minerals. So they just used, obviously the animists never got any of that stuff they stole. Of course. And then the infrastructure all fell apart, just like, getting rid of the white rule of apartheid. Not saying apartheid's good, but now it's 10 times worse. Or Rhodesia, super wealthy, and then they get rid of all the white farmers. Where is it now? Zimbabwe inflation.
Yeah, poorest country in the world. Wow, that is absolutely wild. Why does no one ever... I first understood this during the or began to understand during the Iraq War, where, it's had this massive Christian population, including in the Ba'athist government, in Saddam's government. There are tons of Christians there. And then, after 20 years of war, our war, all the Christians are gone. They're dead or they've moved or whatever.
Same thing now in Syria.
It's absolutely right. So when I figured that out, I started to think, Assad, I've never met Assad. I don't know him, but I know he's better than Al-Qaeda. And I know that he's protecting the Christians. And boy, if you say that, they go completely bonkers. I said that at Fox and they were like, I've never been so attacked. I don't know why it would be offensive to people to say, hey, I think we should watch out for the Christians. It's only offensive because their whole goal is to kill the Christians. That's why it's offensive.
Here's the bottom line, and you know this better than I am. For viewers, you need to understand this. This isn't rhetoric. The Western model promotes freedom and justice and property and diversity of ideas and mobility.
Yes.
The globalists want a technocracy, scientific world dictatorship in their own words. Yuval Harari, all of them, go read their writings, Ray Kurzweil. And so having this model, as I said earlier, having something that's successful and free, no one's going to want what they're selling. So they have to get rid of it. And that's why we have to understand that. And we have to understand that just like South Africa, no, we're not for apartheid, but it was predicted back when they got rid of it, when you had the communists and the Soros left literally coming in. Soros was involved, as you know, setting up communism and haves and have-nots and, nationalizing, everything and doing this, that it's now literal road warrior, hell on earth, everything collapsing. There's only like 40,000 farming families left. They're about to make them hand over the land in the middle of nowhere where their great-great-grandfathers hand dug wells 400 years ago, great. And then the population exploded because the whites came in and literally built infrastructure. Then Africans from all over Africa and Asia, Indians all flooded there because the evil white people were there. And then South Africa becomes this huge thing buoying all of Africa. And then now you blow that up, it collapses. And now the globalists get the rare earth minerals and stuff. The population gets no infrastructure. They get nothing.
It's just a colony of China at this point. It's a Chinese colony at this point.
Exactly. And then the West and Hillary blows up Gaddafi. As you know, invested everything with the West, came and apologized.
Yeah, NATO, the defensive alliance called NATO, defensive alliance, went and just murdered Gaddafi for no reason.
And for those that know, Gaddafi, the more you research him, a statesman, he literally lived in a tent. 98% of the state money coming in, the oil went to not just his people, Africa. And he was building real infrastructure and had a whole plan to link up with, and they came and killed him. And now all of Africa is collapsing because they blew up the South Point and the North Point. One's Gaddafi, the crazy colonel. The point was he was for the people. And down here was this. And now the globalists deliberately blow that up for destabilization.
Yeah. And the population will be moved here into Europe, as it already is being, in Australia, New Zealand, and Canada, of course. I know I see it so clearly. And the funny thing is, they've been preemptively preparing us for this by doing this whole you're a white supremacist and, you're a racist. And when I first heard that, I never met a white supremacist in my life. I still don't know any, actually.
That's the thing. Like the hate in America, maybe, I don't know if this is across the world, but in America, on white men is insane. They will look at you before, if you were black, then you were racially profiled. It's getting to a point where if you're white, if you're white and a man, people are looking at you weird, people are talking to you in a way. And it's like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Why are we going why are we going back to why are we getting more racist? Did MLK, is this what he wanted? Was this his dream, for you to look at a white man and judge him based on his color and not by his content of character? You just look at a man, and because he's white, because he has a skin color that you don't fully appreciate, that you can look down on him, that you can disrespect him, that you can call him racist, that you can call him a white supremacist, that you can go off on him, that you can hit him, that he's now inferior to you? Is that what MLK? Is that what he ended up dying for? Is that what? No. What are we doing? What are we doing? I'm talking to the black people in America right now. What are we doing? Why are we becoming racist? For what? So now the white people are the complete problem. The white people are the issue. Now every time, everywhere you go, you're looking at white. No, brother. No, it's not how it's supposed to be, my friend. It's not how it's supposed to be. And I understand 60 years ago it was really bad. I understand that the America was really racist 60 years ago, but that's not today. That is not today. Matter of fact, I in my entire life, and I lived in America for 15, 16 years, I've never been through a racist situation by a white person. It hasn't happened because we're not in the same. It's not 60 years ago, my friend. We're living in now. We're living in now. This divide and conquer, man, of race, not being able to see past the skin tone of a man, going through the same mistakes that your forefathers went through. When we are in a such better state, trying to create more racism just on the opposite side, believing you're right. My friend, you're wrong. Well, if you enjoyed the video, God bless you. Make sure to subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers very soon. And God bless you. I'll see you next time.